And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another season here of the OSC Elite Rising Star number 20, day 2. I'm, of course, your host, ZvP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, one and all, to our kind of back to regular scheduled programming. Once again, we do apologize for taking, I believe, 2 days off so far. 2 days this week. We did miss out on a couple of broadcast days. We missed out on the Wardy TV Monday and on the Pigastar Cup broadcast. But as discussed yesterday, we have been a little bit under the weather. Again, we've been a little bit under the weather. We've been slowly recovering. We're still not quite at 100%, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We might take a couple of extra breaks here today, just in case, just because our voice has been a little bit sore, has been very worn out, and we've been trying to rest up. On the road to recovery. But regardless, we're going to be back here with some OSC. Let's go. Now, when it comes to this tournament here, the OSC Elite Rising Star is a tournament dedicated for up-and-coming rising talent, hence the name, Rising Stars. It is for players that have not achieved too high placements in tournaments. So the top players like, I don't know, like a Rainer, Cyril, Bjorn, Shin, Solar, Cure, they're ineligible for a tournament like this. Even players like Christiana and Geralt, like they were just placed too highly in tournaments. This is for the up-and-comers. It's more the mid-tier players, players like Shino, players like Vaeda as well, Inexorable, Celestis, Jumi, Milky Cow. These are the kind of the players that we're going to be featuring here tonight instead. And we'll see who's going to be the Rising Star amongst them. Now, the previous champion for the previous season of Rising Star was Shameless. It was a finals between Shameless and Art, and I believe Gigi Machine got 3rd place as well. So Gigi Machine, Shameless, Art, these kind of players we expect to make it through and to have high placing. But if you remember, last week we covered day 1 of this event, and Shameless, he got knocked down. He got knocked down to the lower bracket. His double elimination, of course. I believe he was knocked down by Moja. Moja brought him down. So we had a crazy result, a crazy upset. The reigning champion currently is in the lower bracket. So it does kind of leave things open here. It leaves open the upper bracket for grabs to see who does advance further and who does excel. Now that Shameless is down, we'll see who can rise up. We shall see. Up first, we do have our first series. It's going to be a ZvP between Shino and Vaeda. Let's go. Let us go. Just getting our matchup ready here for our ZvP. Game 1 is going to be on Sanctuary 3. Here we go. And spawning in the top right hand corner here of Sanctuary 3, we have the off racing. Hold on. We have the purple Zerg player from land of the Netherlands, typically Protoss, but here representing Zerg, it is Vaeda. Okay. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Zerg player, the red Zerg. It is Shino getting 10 pulled. That's going to be a short series. You gotta take care of the bunnies. We forgive and love you. Yes. I was looking after the bunnies, but also looking after myself. Like previously, we took some time off at the start of the year to look after the bunnies, but here, yeah, we're just we're trying to recover ourselves. But yes, we do have a 10 pool out of Vaeda. Interesting. So once again, getting into this, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Again, Vaeda is a main race Protoss player, but switching to Zerg for this series or just for the game, going for the 10 pool, going for an all-in, going for a rush. Meanwhile, Shino does go pool first. Ooh, pool first out of Shino. So Shino, he is aware that Vaeda did switch races, is going for a safe build. I do typically favor 10 pools against Hatch first, but this is not Hatch first. This is a safer opener out of Shino. So yeah, we'll see what Vaeda can get done here. Vaeda can still get a lot of damage, especially if Shino miscontrols. If he panics, if he overreacts or underreacts, there's definitely potential for damage here. But otherwise, Shino does have the tools to defend, 100%. These are the tools. We'll see if we can bring it all together. Let's go. As for now, here we go. Lings are fleeing across the map. Vaeda, he's moving out. Does not pull the boys, so this is not the all-in variation. It's going to be a 10 pull into expand. So this is a quote-unquote macro build, but Vaeda will fall behind if he fails to get damage done. Ooh, Shino, so he's aware of what's going on. He does start a spine crawler here on the high ground. Does spot the spine. I believe you don't need the spine crawler to defend, but this will allow for like a 2-base setup here for Shino if it finishes. True. As here we go, the boys are being pulled. Shino has to make sure he does minimize worker losses. Oh, and will zone away. Does zone, rotates back around. Oh, pulls back the Lings. Nicely done here by Shino. Again, does not get surrounded, even minute walks past the Lings. And the spine crawler is not done. Yeah, the spine crawler is complete. We can once again, the queen waddles down as well. Oh my god. Yeah, one of the Lings almost falls. And this hatchery, it's getting a little bit low here, but again, it should not fall. Oh, a little bit messy towards the end. Yeah, a little bit messy here from Shino towards the end. But we'll lose one drone. We'll lose one drone, 2 Lings. Oh no! Queen almost gets surrounded, but does pull away in time, and whew, Shino does hold. A little bit messy towards the end, losing extra Lings, losing 1 drone, and almost getting surrounded. So a little bit messy towards the end, but overall here, Shino is ahead. Shino takes a lead. You can look at the worker count here. Shino, he's on 2 bases. He's on 17 drones. Vaeda on 2 bases on 15 workers himself. Likewise, later injections. So because that Shino has extra production, both players did open up gasless. Vaeda actually does go for an earlier gas geyser into earlier link speed. Now, this is abnormal. Usually when you go for a 10 pull, you delay your gas even further. For the gas to be this fast and this quick, this does mean that Vaeda is planning for, I would say, a link flood follow-up. It's looking like a link flood. Otherwise, you just skip it. Otherwise, you just skip link speed, you wall off on 2 bases, and then you go into like 2 base lair, 2 base roach, 2 base muta. Lings are being caught out. Vaeda making 10 Lings back at home. And the issue with going for a link flood in this kind of game state is that Shino, one, already has a spine crawler, but is walling off himself. Remember, we spoke about this, but Shino skipped his gas. Because he skipped his gases, bam, we're going to fully wall off on 2 bases. It's a high ground expansion as well, here at the Natural on Sanctuary 3. There's less of a chance of this flood working, and Vaeda is expanding. So Vaeda does take a 3rd base, Baneling Nest on the way as well, Hidden Nest, so this is evolving from a Link Flood into a Bane Bust. There's no need to get a Baneling Nest in this kind of game state unless you plan on trying to break through. Otherwise, again, this is a bit of a waste. This is slowing down your lair, it's slowing down your roaches, it slows down your Eva chamber and your upgrades. So spinning gas elsewhere, Lings they poke in, Vaeda confirms that it's going to be 2 base roach, at least. And cancels. Okay, so it does cancel in the end. As I mentioned, like, there's no need for a Baneling Nest in this kind of game state unless you're going for an all-in. Cancels. This tells us that Vaeda is not going for an all-in, but also tells us that Vaeda is just playing from behind. Vaeda is down to 22 workers compared to the 37 drones of Shino. So Shino has a massive worker advantage here. Again, it wasn't just the 10 pull that fell on its face, but the follow-up. Remember, we spoke about it, like Link Speed into a Link Flood, like, didn't really pan out either. Later tech, gases were too early in a sense that it didn't really pay off in the end. Could have been extra mineral income for a faster 3rd expansion, for example. So this is a very, very awkward position here for Vaeda. Now, there are ways to recover in this game. Going lair like this, we could go like into Aspire, into Mutas. Meanwhile, Shino cancels +1 range. Did you notice that? +1 range was on the way earlier, cancels that +1 melee, and now we're going into Hidden Link Speed into what looks to be Muta play. Like, there's no reason to cancel +1 range unless you're planning to go into Spire play, into Mutas, with, of course, a Link Flood as well. So here we go, Shino being cheeky. Now, the reason why this works here is because it is meta, or it makes sense for Vaeda to cancel the Baneling Nest because he sees either 2 base Roach or 2 base Muta, right? He sees 2 base play, so there's a very low chance that Shino actually gets Link Speed. Very, very low chance in the meta of the game. Because of that, Shino gets Link Speed, hides the Link Flood, Vaeda cancels the Baneling Nest, and now Vaeda has minimal units to defend. Now Vaeda, he doesn't have any Roaches to defend, doesn't have any Banelings to defend either, and this Flood is going to work wonders for Shino. Just waiting for Link Speed. Technically, this is inefficient, this hits late, but it's going to be unexpected just because of the expectations of what Shino's doing. And here we go. Yeah, it does flood across the map. Shino's coming. Vaeda racing back home. Back at home, we have a Spine Crawler on the way. Fully walls off here at the Natural. The 3rd base is going to be forfeit at least. And both players are going Muta. Both players are going Spire. Oh, Shino has to be careful. Lings, they kill the third base for free. So this expansion will go down. And behind this, Shino still has a high drone count. He has a higher drone count, 44 drones to 34. So again, higher workers, higher saturation, better economy. Spire's now done. Muta's now on the way. Third base is killed. And Shino's getting his own. He's getting his own third. Behind this, Vaeda is stuck on 2 bases. How many queens? 2. So 2 queens, 0 spores, of course. We're going to have 12 mutas in the field. And 12 mutas do move out. And again, it's. I mean, there's really not much that shoots up here. The mutas are revealed. They hunt down overlords. Supply blocking Vaeda. We have spores on the way, which will help defend the mineral lines at least. Meanwhile, the mutas are just hunting down more overlords. Hunting more overlords. And claiming gases. Gases now being prioritized, are being taken. We see Vaeda on 2 bases going to 2 base Infestor. That's going to be for the infestation bit, into Infestors, into fungal growths. And Shino from here can look to just outscale. Ooh. And drone does go down. Picks off the worker. More mutas amassing. At this point, I would say that Shino could actually push through and probably break through the queens at least, and maybe threaten the spores, but I mean, Shino's just playing it safe. Just playing it safe, just droning, saturating. We can see that Vaeda's trying to switch into Hydra. Ooh, so this, we might just skip Infestors. This might just be Hive into Viper Hydra, but it takes so long to get into that, to take up. It takes so long. Shino should recognize that he's far ahead in the muta counts. He's got more than double. More than double the mutas. Still has to respect the spore though, for sure. Has to respect the spore crawler. Going for the gases. Giving to the fights. Gets 1, gets 2, gets 3. And it takes down 3, 4, 5 mutalisks. And now we just keep going. We can just keep pushing. The door is open, so now we can actually link flood as well, if we so chose to. Ooh, nice fungal, but no follow-up. And 1 high NG Infestor goes down as well. So we did go Infestor and not into Hive, but all 3 Infestors go down. We just tank the fungals. 4 Infestors, oh my god. And GG gets called, and Shino takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG will play Shino to take a lead in the series. Once again, though, when it comes to the game itself, Vaeda is typically a Protoss main, but did switch to Zerg here, and it all began with the 10 pool. Unfortunately for Vaeda, we saw that Shino almost went for like a build or a win. I don't want to go that far just because you can, like, 10 pools aren't all in. You can transition out of that, of course, as well. But we saw that a bit of an inefficient follow-up out of Vaeda, where went for the 10 pool, didn't really get much damage done, but still went for link speed, but didn't go for a link flood. Was thinking about going into link bane. Then realized it was 2 base play and kind of cancelled and pivoted away from that. It was just a very messy follow-up after the 10 pool. And with that, Shino does take a lead. Does take a lead in the series, and we are committing to ZvZ. Okay, so Vaeda does not want to play PvZ. Understandable right now. PvZ is not in a good place. It's not in a good place right now. So understandable that Vaeda would want to avoid that kind of matchup and embrace a different matchup instead. And we'll see if Vaeda can recover in game 2. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Rorschach, we have the purple Zerg player, typically Protoss, but now playing a Zerg from the land of the Netherlands. It is Vaeda. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have their opponents. We have the French Zerg. No, never mind. No, yeah, it's time. It's time. And now the roles have been reversed. You're the French Zerg. It is Shino going for the 10 pool. So last game, Vaeda 10 pooled. This time, Shino's 10 pooling. Now, what I will say though, it's a clown fiesta, baby. 10 pool versus 10 pool on Rorschach. Now this makes sense. Rorschach is a small map, has the shortest rush distance out of any other map in the current map pool, shorter than Rainfall, shorter than Rainfall, shorter than all others. So very short rush distance by ground. 10 pools are very common here on Rorschach. So 10 pool versus 10 pool. This typically means that we just bounce off each other and we macro. I want to say like, oh, we're gonna get rowdy, we're gonna get chaotic, and we're gonna like smash our faces into each other, and it comes down to unit control. Not typically. Usually 10 pool versus 10 pool, just like a 12 pool versus 12 pool, I would assume they just kind of pivot away from each other, they back off, and then we just macro from there. But we'll see. The issue when going for a 10 pool is that your opponent has the advantage. What I mean by that is that if you recognize that you're going for the same build, all you have to do is just pull back and then you have faster reinforcements, right? And if you have faster reinforcements, you have the advantage when you both have the same kind of units. So that's typically why you kind of deflect each other and then you just back off, but we'll see. As we're about to clash. Oh no! Vaeda late to respond. Yeah, big mistake, big mistake. Late reaction, late response by Vaeda. Takes extra hits, we'll lose one Ling already, and that means that Shino can commit. Shino can commit and may catch another set of Lings. Behind this, we're joining. Behind this, both players are joining, both players are saturating. Just a very messy start from Vaeda. And he went for the move command. Got caught out. Oof. Yeah, slightly better engage here from Shino, but I actually tried to over micro there. In the end, Shino lost 4, Vaeda lost 5, so Shino did have the better trade. Even here, better angle, better concave. Yeah, better concave here for Shino. Gets an extra shot in. And again, we're joining, we're saturating, we're expanding from here. We're going to build up into the mid game. Usually off of a 10 pool, because your gases are so late, this turns into 2-base Roach. But just like last game, Vaeda is going for an early gas, early link speed. I'm not fond of this because if you, this should lead into a link flood. But just like last game, if the link flood does 0 damage, you fall behind, right? So link speed, it has a bit of a expiration date here. There we go. Link speed is now on the way. Again, via the rushing gas, rushing link speed. Meanwhile, Shino should be walling off. And if you wall off, then the link flood does nothing. And the problem here is that Vaeda should be expecting a wall off because that's kind of a standard response from a 10 pool. Because your gases are so late, you typically you skip link speed, you just wall off with roaches, just like last game. So I'm really not in love with this link flood response. Obviously, it could work if Shino makes mistakes and if he doesn't wall off, for sure. Yeah, Shino not taking his gases. Link speed is almost done. And so far, Vaeda has not gone for any kind of big amount of Ling production here. Now just going to be zoned away. Lings, they break through. They bust into the main base, and Vaeda's just droning. Yeah, Vaeda's just droning. Shino does get a full scout. Shino confirms Ling speed, and Shino walls. Speaking of that wall, one Ling does get in. Gets a full scout, confirming no gases. No, in the main, I should say. And we're walling up. So as we settle into our game, once again, Shino is ahead. And it's interesting, right? Because both players went for the same build. They both went for the same opener. But Shino, he's up in workers, he's up in resources, he has a more efficient build. Why is that? Well, as we just mentioned, one, I mean, Vaeda did have some miscontrol early on and did have a bit of a rougher engage with the Lings. But we basically took a bunch of a bunch of drones early on, pulled them into, made a gas geyser, pulled them into gas, and this means later queens, it means less mineral income, less drones, less saturation. It slows down the Zerg player in doing so, and then we invested even further by spending gas and minerals into link speed, which didn't accomplish anything, right? It didn't lead to anything. So this is why it's standard to skip link speed in ZvZ if you ever end up in a 10-pool situation like this, because it means faster lair, faster roaches, faster upgrades, faster wall off. So Shino has just gone for a much more efficient response, and Vaeda has kind of spent a bunch of resources and things that didn't really help, like link speed, like the early gas income as well. It has all hurt Vaeda. So in a sense, without even doing anything, with just our builds unfolding, like, Shino has a nice lead. I will say that that the early gases and the early link speed that Vaeda's been going for after the 10 pool, both game 1 and game 2, I do like that if we were up against like a hatch first. Against hatch first, it makes a lot of sense, but against pool first or 10 pools, it makes less sense. In my mind, this shows a little bit of the inexperience of Vaeda at this level of play in ZvZ, of maybe just having like the one build or the kind of the one reaction, one response, but like there's complexity to ZvZ, or there's definitely different facets to it, and going for the same style like this does kind of set you behind. Meanwhile, it's going to be a 2-base all-in. 2-base all-in, Nidus Swarm is now done, and shows the Nidus. Here comes all the roaches, hitting with +1 range, which is just now kicking in. So +1 range is done. We can see that Vaeda's going for his own 2-base all-in. Vaeda doing this with a lower worker count, and I believe with less larva, as the 3rd base is already up, so extra larva here for Shino. So Shino has extra larva, has better production. Does spot to move out with the Overlord. Overlord was in position, so Shino's aware. And Shino's ahead in upgrades. +1 Carapace just now finishing up here for Vaeda, true. Nidus Swarm into the main. Nidus into the main base. Oh, Shino pushing into a concave, so bold move here is going to take a worse fight, true. Yeah, they'll take initially a worse fight, has to pull away. Roaches are coming from behind, Lings are buffering very nicely here, tanking a lot of road shots. But we do have defense advantage. Yeah, defense advantage here for Shino. So with the reinforcements, initially I would say this was a better fight for Vaeda, but because he's fighting on Shino's half of the map, we have that defense advantage, and with that Shino, he does force back the army. Nidus Swarm is done, and Shino can now quickly counterattack. Yeah, he's rushing into Nidus Swarm. Nidus Swarm into the main base, second Nidus Swarm even as well. We dive in, drone's going to be going down, Vaeda out of position. And we take over the ramp. No! Yeah, he gets us up the ramp. Yeah, massive. That's just massive move here, getting us up the ramp, having the better concave. Vaeda stuck trying to push up a choke point into his own main, into their own main. And with that, Shino will shut this down. Takes over the ramp. And now pushing down. So here Shino sibling out of control. Vaeda trying to keep up, trying to push into said main base, but again, it's stuck on low ground. Stuck on low ground, stuck here at the natural. Lair is going to go down. And Shino snowballing out of control. Este Shino. Yeah, catching up more roaches. Boys being pulled. And GG. GG gets called, and Shino will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG, well played. Shino will claim the series. Again, interesting to see Vaeda play Zerg. Have not seen Vaeda play Zerg before. And I mean, 10 pools, there's a reason why they're currently quite prevalent. Even Serral struggles against 10 pool. Bear that in mind. But that's typically when the defending player does go hatch first. Like that's typically when you can catch him out and catch him off guard. Shino did go pool first every game. Standard pool first in game 1. Otherwise, own 10 pool in game number 2. And Vaeda had a very shaky response to that. So the follow-up after not facing off against the hatch first felt a little bit too like almost like cookie cutter, like predetermined, regardless of what they were going to be doing themselves, and I would say set Vaeda behind in a mirror matchup. So it's very, very difficult to recover from that kind of position, just because you have the same tools as your opponent, same units as your opponent. So GG. GG well played. With that, Shino will claim the series, and with that, so we are getting ready for our next matchup. We're going to be following Shino into the next round, where they're going to be facing off against who exactly? Oh, okay, it's going to be Shino versus Art. Oh boy.